All right, in this video, we're going to be discussing and making the special treat greens recipe that comes from the Cooking with Magic cookbook. And the special treat greens is Bambi inspired, since you know she eats her greens, and the greens in it is spinach. And basically, this is a creamed spinach recipe. You know, you're going to take some spinach, you're going to boil it just a little bit to soften it, and then you're going to make it on a skillet with some cream and some onion and some bread topping, and you'll have a nice little side dish.
I'm just preparing the spinach. It basically says to go through the spinach and look for very large stems and remove them. So if I see a large stem, I'm kind of pulling that part off and throwing it away. I'm not being super fussy or particular about this, but just looking for ones that stick out. Here, I'm adding my spinach to some boiling water, and it says to let it boil for about a minute, then let it strain, and then use my hands after it cools slightly to squeeze out the excess fluid. Now to make the breadcrumbs. I'm taking fresh bread, and it says you can use gluten-free bread as well if you want to be gluten-free, and I'm going to blend them until they have made crumbs. Here I added the breadcrumbs to the skillet with some butter, and I'm going to lightly toast them, and then I will put them aside once they're toasted. Next, I'm taking the same skillet I made the breadcrumbs in, and I added some more butter, and now I'm adding some onion to saute it for a few minutes. Then I'll add some spices like garlic and a few other seasonings. Now it's time to add the heavy cream, and I'm supposed to let this come to a boil and then let it simmer for a few minutes before I add the next ingredients. Now that the cream is nice and thick and has been simmering over, it's time to add in some other ingredients, and we've got the Parmesan cheese, which is up first, that I'm sprinkling in, along with some spices and seasonings such as salt and pepper. Now the cheese is melted, it's time to add in the spinach. I'll continue to add the spinach in, stir it all together, and it says heat it till the cheese sauce is a desired consistency. This was looking good to me, so it's time for the last few ingredients that go on top. We've got some more Parmesan cheese, and then finally we add the breadcrumbs back on to the dish. Here is the dish done and ready to eat.
So there was the special treat greens, and I actually really liked this side dish. I was a little nervous about it. You know, again, it's like a creamed spinach, and I feel like I haven't had that in a long time, and I think my past experiences with it were a little questionable, but I really enjoyed it. It was probably a little less spinach than I should have. I should have probably put a little bit more in because the way it, you know, I think I was a little off in the amount it called for. I didn't pay attention to buy enough at the store, so I probably could use a little bit more, so it was a little bit creamier, but that's okay. It was still really delicious. If you don't necessarily like spinach, like I know sometimes some people don't like the taste of spinach, like the flavor profile, I think when it's added with this other stuff, with the cream and the cheese and the onion, it diminishes that a lot. So it just comes together really nice and just makes a really nice side dish. And you know, spinach, so it's a little bit healthier of a side dish, but I don't know if I'd call it super healthy because you've got cream and cheese and stuff in it, but you know, better than mac and cheese, I guess. So either way, it was really good and tasty, and I did really surprisingly enjoy it. So let's get into the rankings and the reviews. So first, I rank the ingredients on a scale of 1 to 5, and I'm gonna give this a 1, which basically means that everything is really easy to find, nothing super expensive, so you could easily get the stuff you need to make this ingredient. The difficulty level on a scale of 1 to 5, I think I'm putting this at like a 2.5. Kind of in the middle. It's not super hard, you know, but you have different steps. You know, you're supposed to pull the stems off the spinach, which I sort of did. You got to boil it, and then you got to like put the things in the pan, and you know, so squeeze the lettuce. So there's a few more steps involved in just kind of tossing stuff together. So that's why I'm thinking it's in the middle. It's, you know, there's a few more things, but it's not super hard. I think most people could do this. And then would I make this again on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being never and 5 being absolutely all the time? I'm gonna give it a solid 4, meaning I really like it, probably gonna make it again. It's probably not gonna be something I make often, just because, you know, my husband's only so in spinach, and you know, after my bout with kidney stones, I'm supposed to be watching my spinach intake, so I probably won't make it often, but I liked it enough that I definitely will make it again and found it very tasty.